Rakai was here, right? In the corner? He was here, right? In the clip? Let's take a look.
He's let it be funny.
He's right here. Okay, he's good. He's a count of 4. He's a count of 4. Oh, wait. Is he in this clip?
We need to see where Stocky was before, and at this same time too. I'll be Robin to your Batman buddy.
Stocky, I think, was over here.
Jokes.
Well, we have to look though. Okay. Now hold on now. At least this one is missing. But hold on. Guys, I'm not trying to be a snitch or whatever. But the story was, he said that. Hold on, I want to be read. He said that he was gone to the bathroom before the skit. So that he didn't go to the bathroom because he went before the joke was made. You know what I mean? He said that. No, after? Okay, so you're wrong. So you're wrong. It's all good. I mean, you're wrong. You just say you're wrong. You are wrong. No. You are wrong. Look at it again. He said he went to the bathroom before the skit.
I thought it was. Have a good night.
I think maybe there's a few more missing. Most of them are gone. Only a few are left. Ray is left. Reginald is left. Most of them are gone. What do we get about this? Because I'm debugging it.
Here. Do you want to do a joke?
No.
Holy.
Okay. I only said that because he got his hair cut.
Let me at it.
Anyway, speaking of
Let me where he says what are you talking about it.
Alumni here tonight. Ray and Tota. Wait,
The first thing you guys link it. The first link of title, link it. I can just find myself, I don't care.
And I was like,
No, not this.
so. Chat, he's not talking about me.
Yo, he's let me do my job. Oh my god, even if you find a person who's gonna do nothing burger, move on. No, first of all, not another burger. Two, we're matching the story. We're matching the story with the timeline. We are matching it.
The fuck? He's not talking about me or anybody I was with because one, what? Chat, y'all tripping.
Nose big.
Word of my mother, he's not talking about me. Are you crazy? He was not talking about me.
Hold on.
You got. Let me see the clip. Let me see the clip. He can't be talking about me. He can't be talking about me. Let me see the clip. Mark, y'all locked the fucking.
No one asked Pepe a clap.
I went to the bathroom one time, and me and Dad was. Let me see the clip. Mark, y'all locked the fucking.
Hold on, man.
He was not talking about me. Move on. Cause I know. First of all, me and Dez was never even. I went to the bathroom one time, and me and Dez was never even in the bathroom with each other. So y'all saying two names that it's no correlation because me and him was in the bathroom with each other, and I didn't even speak about that situation. And I went to the bathroom before that even happened.
So who in the chat? Everybody said it. He said after. He said after. He said after. Shut up, debunker. You've been debunked live. You have been debunked in live motion, and you feel bad about it. And I know you're something is stunning. Live on air. could fucking never. I could never do it myself. I'd go crazy if it happened to me.
Literally, so I'm not even gonna shine any letter. Can we please check?
Debunked. Now shit yourself again.
Listen,
Chat, the debunker doesn't choose his cases, the cases choose him.
So
This is for the love of the game.
So during the intermission,
Hello XQC, I just wanted
some
to
individuals
say
are
my
missing.
favorite streamer of all time and thank you for all the streams.
So far,
Just kidding, you're mega analyzing a bunch of retards that nobody cares about.
so far, the stocky story sticks. Unless this scumbag is lying. Now hold on. Can only prove this if I find Stocky during the music exchange. If he said disable, he's lying. Unless
6,
he's
7,
not.
I mean 5, 7 months. Lol lol lol.
I gotta mute this, sorry. DMCA. Hold on. Guys, where is he normally seated at? He's here somewhere, right? You guys remember where he was at? Guys, yeah, he has a white suit. It should be easier to spot if he's there. He's on the right side. Where? He would be visible from here, right?
还没有准备好。
I love you chat, and Taylor XQCL.
That would be on the right side. So that would be on the right side of the room.
能量不足，
The stock guy.
By the stairs. So he'd be right here somewhere. He would be right under here. He'd be right here. And he isn't. And he isn't. So he's at the bathroom. Sorry, DMC, I forgot.
"58 months. I started watching sophomore year of high school, and I graduate college in 6 days. Am I young chat?"
Yeah, he's at the bathroom. Guys, he's at the bathroom. Only one pink t-shirt. I mean, so far, chat, guys, I gotta say, I think his story is holding up.
Coming up on the Streamer Awards, the award for Best Streamed Collab,
I mean, debunked live.
the Hidden Gem Award, brought to you by Omen HyperX.
He doesn't believe me this. What is that?
A nigga play with my man Cosnet, I'm gonna play with they fucking life. play with my man Cosnet. I'm gonna play with their fucking life.
Interesting.
I'm in the middle, right? And I see them down there, and I hear the guy take the mic about if you're gonna tell a joke, at least make it funny.
Oh, he's up there.
Or whatever. And then
66 months
and then we went to
away.
an intermission. I go down, you know, I go down to the bathroom. As I walk in the bathroom, I hear somebody come in and go, "Yo, fuck that bitch, man, fuck that bitch. I'll fucking."
Anyway, wait. I think it's enough debunking for today, chat. You guys AFP really bad. I'm gonna try the Battlefield update, probably not. What happened? His AFP really bad. I'm about to blow up. Stop saying these nuts. It's just, it's not funny. Here, watch it. You can chat. Watch it for like 2 minutes. Let's watch this.
Sir? This MAGA infighting that we're seeing, it's kind of become my favorite thing to watch other than Pluribus this year. Great series, highly recommend. Right, but yesterday with MAGA, you had just fighting on multiple fronts with Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz, Laura Loomer, and others just kicking, punching, just grabbing fistfuls of hair. You know, we'll start with Trump and Greene, or as he calls her, Brown. Because Marge, I mean, she's broken from Trump on several issues this year. What was happening with Israel and Gaza, the strikes on Iran, the Epstein files, the healthcare subsidies, and all of that has led to her next month resigning. And you have Trump calling who used to be his bravest soldier a traitor, among other things. And so yesterday she went on CBS's 60 Minutes and she shot back. Or with Marge saying that around the same time he invited the Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani, the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed Bonsan, the new Syrian president whom she called a former Al-Qaeda leader, to the White House. And so you had Green seeming to imply here that if anyone's a traitor, it's not her, it's Trump. And then with that, you had her getting really serious about her own personal safety.
After President Trump called me a traitor, I got a pipe bomb threat on my house, and then I got several direct death threats on my son. The subject line for the direct death threats on my son was his words: Marjorie Traitor Green.
And Green then later elaborated on X, saying, I sent these assassination threats on my son to President Trump, in which he responded with harsh accusatory replies and zero sympathy. And adding, I also sent these threats to Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and Deputy Chief James Blair and received no response, nothing. Saying it was shocking to be treated this way by top Republican Party leaders, considering everything I did to help elect their boss and the fact that I have paid all of my dues, $350,000 plus, to the NRCC every single Congress, including this one, and have a 98% voting record with President Trump and a 100% rating by Conservative Review. And then asking, what is required of me to be an American first representative? Must I stay until I am Charlie Kirk or my children are murdered? And adding, Republicans need to take a hard look in the mirror and ask themselves, are you a mindless pawn taking orders or an elected representative serving your district in their views and needs? Saying a congressional Republican majority who takes orders from the White House and relinquishes all control to the executive branch is not serving the will of their voters. And an admin that only provides results through executive orders only provides temporary policies to the American people. But then also with 60 Minutes, what a lot of people have grabbed onto is how she described Trump's conversation with her about Epstein.
He was extremely angry at me that I had signed the discharge petition to release the files, and he was furious with me.
What did he say?
He said that it was going to hurt people. I don't know what that means. I don't know who they are.
Or with Green then claiming that he passed a crypto bill to benefit his donors, attacked Iran to serve Israel's interests, and kept the COVID vaccines on the market to help Big Pharma. Right, and then finally she said that behind closed doors, Republican lawmakers talk much differently about Trump than they do in the public, and what they say, it would shock people.
I watched many of my colleagues go from making fun of him, making fun of how he talks, making fun of me constantly for supporting him, to when he won the primary in 2024, they all started, excuse my language, Leslie, kissing his ass and decided to put on a MAGA hat for the first time.
And so, all of that, it goes out yesterday, and there were a lot of reactions, but some of the wildest ones maybe came from Donald Trump himself. He's saying on Truth Social, the only reason Marjorie Traitor Green turns brown under stress went bad is that she was jilted by the President of the United States. Certainly not the first time she has been jilted. Too much work, not enough time, and her ideas are now really bad. She sort of reminds me of a rotten apple. Marjorie is not America First or MAGA because nobody could have changed her views so fast, and her new views are those of a very dumb person. That was proven last night when washed-up, Trump-hating 60 Minutes correspondent Leslie Stahl, who still owes me an apology from when she attacked me on the show, a serious conviction that Hunter Biden's laptop from hell was produced by Russia, not Hunter himself, totally proven wrong, interviewed a very poorly prepared traitor who, in her confusion, made many really stupid statements. But then adding, my real problem with the show, however, wasn't the low IQ traitor, it was that the new ownership of 60 Minutes, Paramount, would allow a show like this to air. They are no better than the old ownership who just paid me millions of dollars for fake reporting about your favorite president, me, and saying since they bought it, 60 Minutes has actually gotten worse. Oh well, far worse things can happen. P.S. I hereby demand a complete and total apology, though far too late to be meaningful, from Leslie Stahl in 60 Minutes for her incorrect and libelous statements about Hunter's laptop. I have no idea how anyone could think that man does not have all his faculties intact. Right, that's the main takeaway we all get there. Right, but like I said, this is a war on multiple fronts, and another one, it opened up with a different interview, and that one was between Tucker Carlson and the Prime Minister of Qatar. And that was a controversial one because, for context, Qatar has long been accused of a laundry list of human rights abuses. Right, things like women being subjected to male guardianship laws, people being imprisoned for extramarital sex and gay sex, freedom of expression being non-existent, and modern day slavery. Because according to Human Rights Watch, migrant workers make up almost the entire population, and because of the way that the sponsorship works, their employers have disproportionate control over them. And so you saw things like before very recent reforms, they needed permission to even leave the country. They still need permission to change jobs. They often work in brutal conditions for low pay, and sometimes they even die. But when Tucker Carlson visited the capital city, Doha, yesterday, he had nothing but kind words for the PM.
This country's being denounced as a terror state, terror financing. One of the reasons I openly admire you despite much criticism and was grateful to interview you today is because your country acts as a kind of neutral zone around the world.
And you then end up going on to paint Qatar as an innocent victim of Israeli aggression who's just trying to get aid to the Palestinians and only hosted Hamas leaders because Israel and the US asked for it. And notably, for the whole 20 minutes, he never asked a single, even remotely critical or challenging question to the prime minister. Instead, he treated him as a kind of subject matter expert on the region's politics, almost like he was interviewing a political science professor and not, a very controversial head of state. But then, at the end, Tucker revealed something about himself that caught the most attention online.
Personally, not to make it about me, but I have been criticized as being a tool of Qatar. And I just want to say what you already know, which is I've never taken anything from your country and don't plan to. I am, however, tomorrow buying a place in Qatar, both because I am
pay a high check
in Doha, yeah, and I'm doing that because I like the city. I think it's beautiful, but also to make the statement that I'm an American and a free man, and I'll be wherever I want to be.
And immediately, you had many on the right just dunking on it. Or with Ted Cruz, oddly, or maybe not oddly, I remember that one 9/11 post that he liked, opting for a sexually suggestive angle of attack, or posting a picture of Tucker sitting with his legs spread out in the air and what can only be described as a very eager and receptive position with the caption, live footage of Tucker Carlson interviewing the Prime Minister of Qatar. With him then also posting, I thought fellatio was illegal in Qatar. And then when Neil Patel, the CEO of Tucker's media company, posted a photo of themselves in Doha with the ironic caption, greetings from the bloodthirsty, terror-supporting slave state of Qatar, Cruz responded, fact check, true. But all of that was pretty tame compared to the firestorm that was unleashed by one of Trump's closest confidants, Laura Loomer. When I say firestorm, I mean she has been posting incessantly for the past 2 days about him and Qatar, literally dozens upon dozens of posts with her fingers just flying, writing things like nothing says America first, like giving your money to the funders of global Islamic jihad who have made being a Christian or Jew illegal in Qatar, as well as video of Tucker Carlson at the Doha Forum tonight is now emerging in which he looks incredibly flustered and flushed in the face, saying I can't tell if his face is flushed because he's angry or because he's having a capillary response to alcohol as a self-admitted alcoholic. Rehab has helped millions of people. If you have relapsed, Tucker, just know that there's help. And again, there's a lot that she has said, but with that, you had some shooting back at her, like Roger Stone writing, due to the ability to quite legally obtain all of Laura Loomer's bank and financial records offshore, very soon you'll know exactly who's paying her.
gonna say?
Say it.
I'll say, listen, bitch. What's the coolest dick you ever sucked? Get the fuck off my dick. That's what I was gonna say. Chat, I was gonna say that shit to her face, bro. And for everybody. But I had to just sit down and think.
You know, I believe that. I believe that, especially when they give him the mic, right? And say something about yourself, and do one to.
Rakai, you are our youngest nominee ever. For those of you who don't know you, do you want to give a little introduction about yourself as a streamer?
Wait, what you mean? What you mean? What? Like,
An introduction of yourself as a streamer.
I don't really know. Like, I just stream, yeah.
Amazing sales pitch.
Like. surely we're gonna get a joke out of this. Surely, like, really, dude. Come on, dude. Come on, man. Come on, man.
I was gonna say that shit. I was like, bitch, what's the coolest dick you ever fucking sucked? You ugly bitch. To her, I was gonna say that. But I just calmed down, bro, and you know, and like, you know, see why she even said that shit. Cause whole time, now I get it. Now I get it. Like, she said it cause, you know, I got banned for giving that girl flowers, but
giving the girl flowers. Giving the girl flowers. He was giving the flowers. Oh!
she didn't even understand
He was
that
giving the
whole
flowers.
time.
Get a cart. Oh, we going. Oh God, we should get this to somebody. Have a beautiful day.
You too?
I got it for you.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just don't touch my truck. Now, shit, listen, everybody got locked in, bro.
I had my assistant, tell the lady that she never bought it. She put it back, but that wasn't on camera. So, but
Okay, things that didn't happen for $1,000.
When will you gamble again? I need to see the Max win.
Yo, things that did not happen for $1,000.
fuck you, bitch. Nah, real shit. Fuck you. It's the coolest dick you ever fucking sucked. You ugly bitch. To her, I was gonna say that, but.
XQC.
Guys, he was gonna say it then.
LXQC.
Guys, chat, what the fuck is that? Guys, is that the guy from Toy Story? What the f is that?
Yo sup XYO.
Who posted this? Okay, that's a diabolical picture.
I just calmed down, bro, and you know, and like, you know.
So, I hate to tell you guys this, but it's over. It's done. Finally caught. Life ruined. Permaban. Hello, dear viewer, and welcome to my humble channel. Today is going to be a kind of out of the ordinary video. I'm going to be talking about certain YouTube thumbnails. I just want to comment on an observation that I've made with certain YouTube thumbnails the past while, ever since Mr. Beast got called out and a certain YouTuber started to, quote, rise in power, unquote. I don't mean that literally, I mean that figuratively, because they've been quite influential with YouTube thumbnails the past while. Now, in case you have no idea who I am talking about, I am talking about the YouTuber Pegasus, also known as More Pegasus, who has sort of popularized these clickbaity type thumbnails that lack any nuance that you might even consider out of the video. With thumbnails like, it's over, it's done, finally caught, permaban. She's done. He got caught. Life ruined. And I'm quite literally reading these thumbnails in real time. Like, what are some of these titles? They don't tell you anything about the video. And by titles, I mean thumbnails. Excuse me for getting those mixed up. But what are these thumbnails? They don't tell you anything about the video. And there's no identity to them. There's absolutely no identity to them. They don't tell you who it's about, what it's about, aside from putting the person's face in one corner and then that big bolded text on the other side, the opposing side. Like, come on now. We went from hyper neon ADHD thumbnails to just this complete garbage. Like, what is this? What is this? What happened to creative thumbnails where they had personality and they gave you a little insight into like the video and who the person is who uploaded the video in the first place? What happened to the personality? What happened to the person behind it? Now it's just boring, bland, and I hate to say it, it comes off as blatantly corporate. Not literally corporate, but it just has that same blandness. Like a hamburger patty that the chef didn't bother to add any salt or pepper to. It looks like it's got something to it, but when you bite into it, it's got nothing. There's nothing to take away from the burger until the video starts introducing what they're actually going to be talking about, including any potential nuance that the thumbnail fails to bring up. How did we go from Mr. Beast neon ADHD type thumbnails to this garbage? Like, that's a genuine question. And look at YouTube gamers like PewDiePie or Markiplier or Jacksepticeye's thumbnails. And look at the personality they had at the time. Then compare them to these new modern ones that more Pegasus popularized, and it's like a night and day. What happened? Can we please go back to more creative thumbnails that aren't just bolded text, the bottom part being red on a gray background, and then the person making a stupid face looking at the camera? Can we go back to something more creative, please? Anywho, that's all that I wanted to talk about today. This was not a serious video. It was more of a dumb rant type video that's basically a nothing burger. Just something I wanted to get out there and see if anybody else shared that same sentiment about modern YouTube thumbnails. Thank you for watching, and till next time. Peace.
Why? Adding Tucker Carlson will always be Laura Loomer's intellectual superior, and no amount of her annoying whining will ever change that. And then adding, Laura Loomer and Tucker Carlson are both longtime friends of mine, but Laura needs psychiatric help for her obsession regarding Tucker. Frankly, if I were him, I'd sue the fuck out of her because there is not a lawyer in the United States willing to defend her. See a shrink, Laura, you ain't right in the head. But then Loomer firing back, Roger, if I'm your friend, why do you continue to lie about me to run cover for Tucker? Tucker is allowing Qatari influence in our politics. I'm going to keep exposing his lies. He's whitewashing Islam, and everything I said about him is true. But they're then going on to say he can sue me for telling the truth, and then I will get to see who pays him and Neil Patel and Tucker Carlson now. I can't wait to see his text messages with Trump haters. That is also not where it ends, because Loomer called out another interview that Tucker just did with the once notorious but now obscure conservative pundit, Milo Yiannopoulos. With a nearly 2-hour exchange titled, "Why Are You Gay?" Milo Yiannopoulos explains,
Well, I've always wanted to say, in a Ugandan accent, are you gay? Why are you gay? So let me ask, are you gay? Were you gay? Like, what is gay?
Nobody's gay. Nobody's gay.
And you really only need to glance at the time codes to see how nuts it was. What they include, is there a demonic aspect to addiction? Is Dave Rubin really conservative? Is Pete Buttigieg really gay? Is lesbianism real? And why you aren't allowed to leave the gay mafia? But at least, I guess for this video, that ends up being besides the point, because what Loomer found so objectionable wasn't that, it was, I'll just read her post. Or with Loomer writing, Milo Yiannopoulos is allegedly an illegal alien who is living in California with Dob Charney when he's not living inside the Rome, Georgia residence of Marjorie Taylor Greene doing her dirty work. Milo had what many believe to be a sham marriage with a black man named John to get a visa, and now Milo is allegedly a visa overstay who is violating State Department policy by pushing out Holocaust denial and interfering in our elections by attacking Donald Trump and spreading malicious lies about Charlie Kirk, his wife, and Benny Johnson. And with that, adding Milo is a notorious drug addict, and I personally believe he is lying about having cancer. He was fired for pro-pedophile comments, and he is allegedly a criminal illegal alien. I am calling on ICE, DHS, Kristi Noem, and Tom Homan to deport Milo Yiannopoulos back to the UK. I am happy to provide witness testimony and hand over Milo's address to authorities and immigration officials. And then, in another post, she continued, further proving that Tucker Carlson is totally okay with the attacks on TPUSA and the accusations from Milo that Tyler Boyer and Benny Johnson were gay. Tucker Carlson is continuing to promote Milo tonight, just hours after Benny and his wife threatened to sue Milo for defamation. And then continuing, Milo also went on Timcast this week and said Charlie Kirk was gay and was planning to divorce Erica Kirk. Tucker is literally trying to destroy TPUSA, and for some weird reason, they won't call him out. This is clearly coordinated. So yeah, for now, we'll have to continue to watch this, wait and see where any of this just dumpster fire shit show goes. You know, in the meantime, I don't know, I'll have my popcorn ready. Again, love Pluribus. This is the show of the year. We'll get right back into the news in just a minute, but first let me say, life already charges enough taxes. So why do banks insist on adding a you tried your best but failed fee on top? Well, that is where today's sponsor, Current, comes in. It's the banking app for people who are just done getting smacked with fees or just trying to function like normal humans. With Current, you can also get a paycheck advance of up to $750, which can be the difference between I've got this under control and living off ramen for a week. Also, maybe you go a little over, Current's fee-free overdraft, it gives you up to $200 of breathing room. No penalties, no drama, no we're disappointed in you energy. And hey, if you're waiting for payday, Current lets you get your paycheck up to 2 days early because your bills don't wait, so why should you? Also, do you want to build credit without juggling credit cards? The Current Build Card, it helps you raise your score safely. I mean, users see an average 80-point increase in 6 months. And you can earn 4% on savings, plus access to 40,000 plus fee-free ATMs nationwide. It's fast, it's flexible, and actually built for the year that we're living in, not whatever nonsense banks are still stuck in. So hey, you can make it easy. Just scan that QR code or click the link down below and use code Phil for $50 on us. But then, next up in the news, I'm very interested to know your thoughts here. This Paramount, Netflix, Warner Brothers situation is crazy. It's got a lot of people going, it doesn't feel like there is a best path forward, but maybe a less concerning path forward. Because Paramount has just now launched a hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers. And they're arguing that this is in the best interest of the creative community, the consumers, and the movie theater industry for Paramount to buy the studio instead of Netflix. Because last Friday, we learned that Netflix won a major bidding war to buy Warner Brothers in a deal valued at $83 billion. And this is a big deal. Netflix beat out Paramount, Comcast, and more longtime major players to get this. This is a move that would essentially cement Netflix as an official king of Hollywood. But also, you have a lot of people concerned here. One, you have people fearing that this would lead to a monopolistic control of the streaming market. And two, this really made people worry about the future of movie theaters. Because while Netflix said that it expects to keep releasing the studio films theatrically, it also said that they plan on making the release windows more consumer-friendly, which essentially means that films won't be released in theaters for as long. And so then pair that with Netflix's co-CEO Ted Sarandos long downplaying the importance of theatrical releases, and you have many questioning what Netflix's long-term goals would actually be here. And with that, you had a group of anonymous producers even writing a letter arguing Netflix views any time spent watching a movie in a theater as time not spent on their platform. They have no incentive to support theatrical exhibition, and they have every incentive to kill it. And they definitely weren't alone there. You had major Hollywood unions like the Writers Guild going as far as to say that the deal should be blocked. And overall, if you looked out there were a ton of people in the industry just kind of panicking about this acquisition. But then also, even though today's news, it may lead to that deal falling through, it's created even more panic, right? Because you've got Paramount putting itself back into the conversation and appealing directly to WB's shareholders in a hostile takeover bid. And specifically, they're throwing an all-cash offer of $30 per share, or a total value of $108 billion. Right, with Paramount claiming that this provides shareholders with $18 billion more in cash than Netflix's offer does. But also, this would include all of Warner Bros. Discovery, meaning that it's for the film studio, streaming services, and cable channels. And that's a notable difference because under the Netflix deal, cable channels were not included and they would have to be spun off. Though the way you had Paramount Skydance CEO David Ellison explaining it is that the plan provides superior value and a more certain and quicker path to completion, saying we are taking our offer directly to shareholders to give them the opportunity to act in their own best interests and maximize the value of their shares. And with all that, claiming that this merger would create a stronger Hollywood for both consumers and creatives who would, quote, benefit from the enhanced competition, higher content spend and theatrical release output, and a greater number of movies in theaters as a result of our proposed transaction. And while you might think that those claimed commitments to Hollywood and movie theaters would put the industry at ease, that's really not the case. Because again, there were still major monopoly concerns, but also Paramount CEO is the son of Larry Ellison, the Oracle billionaire and Trump ally. Also, some of the deal's funding is supported by the Ellison family, so that means that Larry could have his hands on this. David Ellison also led the charge to get a Paramount and Skydance merger through earlier this year, and there were concerns that there were a bunch of secret side deals with the Trump administration to get that deal through. Right? And then also there are more concerns about how Paramount is financing this, right? Because their offer actually includes billions from wealth funds in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, as well as an equity firm backed by Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. Though with this, you had Paramount saying that the foreign wealth funds have agreed to forego any governance rights, including board representation associated with their non-voting equity investments. Because, you know, those promises, they could help it get federal approval, but also the thing is, there's just a ton of politics involved no matter who buys it. And, you know, Trump, he really hasn't said where he stands on this. He has given mixed messaging on the companies. It often feels like he supports whoever he most recently met with. Though he recently just praised Netflix and Ted Sarandos, but then added that the merger could be a problem. Which I'm saying, they have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, that share goes up a lot. Adding, I'll be involved in that decision. Also, I've got to add that as I was recording, both Netflix and WB ended up responding to the news. Right, Netflix kind of dismissing it, saying this bid was expected, but they remain confident in their deal, and Warner Bros. Saying it will carefully review this new Paramount offer and respond within 10 business days. Right, and then with all of this, we haven't even touched on the fact that WB's cable channels include CNN. So if the Ellisons get their way, they would then be in charge of CNN, and they already have CBS News. And then that, I mean, it doesn't even get into the TikTok of it all. I mean, the amount of control that's happening in the media right now, it's crazy. But hey, for now, while this plays out, I'd love to know your thoughts, opinions, reactions, and maybe even predictions about what's going to happen next. Definitely let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below, because yes, this is a news show, but I also want it to be a conversation. Then, next up, this is ridiculous. President Trump is announcing a $12 billion bailout for farmers who have been hurt by Trump's own tariffs. Because nothing screams, the tariffs are working, like needing a massive bailout because you fucked farmers over so much. And while the plans are set to be announced at a roundtable later today, at least as of recording, it's been widely reported that up to $11 billion will go to one-time payments under the Agriculture Department's new Farmer Bridge Assistance Program, which was created to support American crop farmers, and as far as the remaining $1 billion, that'll go towards aid for commodities not covered by the program. And while it would seem pretty obvious to anyone with eyes, ears, and a brain that the Trump tariffs are responsible here, you still had a White House spokesperson trying to put the blame on Biden, saying today's announcement reflects the president's commitment to helping our farmers, who will have the support they need to bridge the gap between Biden's failures and the president's successful policies taking effect. Rather than also praising Trump's tariffs, claiming that Trump, quote, is helping our agriculture industry by negotiating new trade deals to open new export markets for our farmers and boosting the farm safety net for the first time in a decade. But, very big thing, experts widely agreed that farmers have been dramatically hurt by Trump's tariffs on a number of fronts. First off, many farmers have been struggling to sell their crops because other countries have retaliated against Trump's tariffs by imposing their own, making American crops more expensive in global markets. And this struggle is especially pronounced when it comes to China, which is normally a major buyer of U.S. crops, especially soybeans. For China is the world's largest buyer of soybeans. And earlier this year, they stopped purchases from America as the trade war with Trump escalated. And while China agreed to start buying again during a trade truce in October, the whole thing, it's massively hurt soy farmers. In fact, it's been reported that the new bailout is specifically aimed at helping soybean farmers who have just seen a massive drop in sales. Then beyond that, the tariffs have also increased input costs for farmers on products like machinery, supplies, and fertilizers. And then Trump's constant flip-flopping on various tariffs, it's created market uncertainty that makes it impossible for farmers to plan their planting and sales in advance. In fact, Trump's trade policies, not Biden's, appear to have pushed many farmers into bankruptcy. Back in October, it was reported that 181 farmers have filed for bankruptcy protection in the first half of 2025. That is a massive increase of 60% from last year, and the highest 6-month reading since the height of the pandemic in 2020. Right, and while Trump's tariffs, they have directly impacted American farmers in a bad way. China, they've been thriving. I mean, just today it was reported that China's trade surplus, it topped $1 trillion for the first time. So the Washington Post explaining that this is, quote, a sign that President Donald Trump's high tariffs have done little to stop Chinese factories from flooding global markets. And so as a result, you have many arguing that these new bailouts are essentially an admission that Trump's trade policies are failing American farmers. And not failing by a little, failing so much so that Trump needs to spend billions of dollars to bail out this key segment of his base. But also, I'll say it's unclear exactly how much these bailouts are going to help as long as Trump's tariffs remain in place and his trade war with China rages on. But I mean, even back in September, the president of the American Soybean Association explicitly rejected the idea that relief from Washington would structurally help farmers, saying a government payment is not the answer to long-term success in our industry. China consumes 61% of all soy consumed in the world. It's not a market where we can just say, oh, well, we'll just sell to somebody else. You know, as far as what happens from here, you know, Congress is going to have to approve a final version of Trump's bailout. But with that, I will say there's been a lot of support from this move, especially from lawmakers who represent agriculture-heavy states. Then, next up today, this one just makes me laugh. Only Trump could flip on someone within days of signing a pardon that saved them from potential prison time. Because you've got this guy, Representative Henry Cuellar. He's a Democrat from Texas. And last year, the Biden DOJ slapped Cuellar and his wife with charges including bribery, conspiracy, wire fraud, and money laundering, right? Accusing them of accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes from an Azerbaijan oil company and Mexican bank in exchange for advancing Azerbaijan interests in Congress. So with that, these two, they've maintained their innocence. They've accused the DOJ of entrapment, and their trial was supposed to kick off next April. But then, their daughters, they sent a letter to Donald Trump requesting a pardon for their parents. And Trump, he even shared that letter dated November 12th, in which they argued that their father's, quote, independence and honesty may have contributed to how this case began. And it looks like they knew how to work Trump. They pointed to his criticism of the Biden administration's border policies. And the daughters, they appealed to Trump personally, saying, when you and your family faced your own challenges, we understood that pain in a very human way. We watched from afar through the eyes of daughters who knew what it felt like to see parents under fire. And all of that, it led to Trump actually last week granting both Cuellar and his wife a presidential pardon, with them applauding it for standing up to the Biden administration and saying on Truth Social, Henry, I don't know you, but you can sleep well tonight. Your nightmare is finally over. And Cuellar was quick to respond, saying, I want to thank President Trump for his tremendous leadership and for taking the time to look at the facts. I thank God for standing with my family and I during this difficult time. This decision clears the air and lets us move forward for South Texas. This pardon gives us a clean slate. The noise is gone, the work remains, and I intend to meet it head on. And so with all this, for Republicans in Texas, this was a unique situation. Cuellar is already a pretty conservative Democrat. And for a minute, there was a long shot hope that this moment with Trump, it could actually be a thing that tipped him over to the other side. Something that, it had the pretty narrow majority that Republicans have in the House going into the midterm. Then, just hours after getting that pardon, Cuellar filed for re-election and announced that he had no intentions of changing his party. With him telling Fox News, I'm an American, I'm a Texan, and I'm a Democrat in that order. And I think that anybody that puts party before their country is doing a disservice to their country. And this move by Cuellar, not something that Trump was a fan of. Or with him then quickly posting that he felt good fighting for this family against, quote, very sick and deranged people, but saying that Cuellar maintaining his status as a Democrat, it ruined him. Or with Trump accusing him of continuing to work with the same radical left scum that just weeks before wanted him and his wife to spend the rest of their lives in prison, and adding, such a lack of loyalty, something that Texas voters and Henry's daughters will not like. Oh well, next time, no more Mr. Nice Guy. And with all that, we've got to talk about a few things, right? It's important to note that this pardon doesn't mean that Cuellar is in the clear completely, or he's still under investigation from the House Ethics Committee. And that was an investigation that started last May and then was reauthorized in July of this year. But then also, if we zoom out from this guy specifically, we should talk about the sheer volume of pardons that we've seen from Trump this year. Because, in his first term, Trump issued 237 acts of clemency over all 4 years, but this time around, in just the first year alone, he's given out almost 1,600. So of course, a lot of those were connected to the January 6th insurrection, but we've still seen nearly 100 others since he took office in January, including high-profile people in politics, reality TV, business, and music. And, a number of those, they've been connected to things that seem to contradict what he's trying to do as far as policy. It's really fueled a lot of criticism that this administration is very pay-for-play, and at least for now, there's no reason to expect really anything different. Like, the accountability is, it really doesn't feel like anything anyone should expect while these guys are in power. But that also doesn't mean it should be normalized and we don't take in that information. But then, next up in the news, let's talk about international news, because Thailand has launched airstrikes against Cambodia. And so it appears that this decades-old dispute that Trump claims to have ended, it's really not quite over. In fact, reporters asked Thailand's prime minister about the U.S. brokered deal recently signed in Malaysia with Trump in attendance, and he responded, I don't remember that anymore. Then also claiming Cambodia must comply to our conditions in order to stop the fight. And then the Thai Army Chief of Staff adding that the goal is to render Cambodia incapable of military action for a long time. Also, if right now you're like, homie, what are you even talking about? Sorry, this is like chapter 87. To bring it back, these two countries, they share a nearly 500-mile-long border, but they don't agree on exactly where it runs. And that disagreement at least partly stems from a map that was drawn up by the French when they controlled Cambodia as a colony. Also, there are competing claims over centuries-old temples with cultural significance to both sides. And so for decades, there have been occasional brief border skirmishes, including back in July when at least 40 people were killed and hundreds of thousands were displaced over 5 days of fighting. Right, and during that conflict, Thailand deployed F-16s to bomb Cambodian military targets, which was the first time that the country had used fighter jets in combat in 3 decades. It was an escalation that, along with pressure from the US, helped secure an initial ceasefire and then an expanded agreement in October. With Trump, of course, just jumping at the opportunity to take credit and counting it as one of the 8 wars that he says he's ended and why he should get a Nobel Peace Prize. Right, except Last month, you had Thailand pulling out of peace talks after 2 of its soldiers were injured by a landmine in a disputed border area. And then yesterday, the country claimed that Cambodian troops opened fire, injuring another 2 soldiers. But on the flip side, you had Cambodia's defense ministry accusing Thailand of firing first using handguns, rocket launchers, and mortars, right, and claiming that its forces had contacted the Thai side without firing back. But then today, the Thai army again accused Cambodia of opening fire, allegedly killing a soldier this time, and it prompted the airstrikes. And specifically, according to a spokesperson, fighter jets hit 3 Cambodian military installations near the border, including a radio tower and a casino near the border that the Thai army alleges is used by Cambodia as a drone base. And so at least as of recording, you have Cambodian officials saying that 4 civilians have been killed and 9 others injured. But with the defense ministry also condemning the Thai strikes and insisting that it remained committed to implementing the ceasefire. And then also in the meantime, as all of that's playing out, you have hundreds of thousands of lives already being affected. For example, just yesterday, Thai officials ordered residents in 4 provinces along the border to evacuate to shelter, with the military claiming that nearly 500,000 people had to do so. And then today, you had Cambodian officials announcing that tens of thousands on their side had moved away from the border as well. But that is where today's show is gonna end. Thank you so much for being a part of another daily dive into the dumpster fire that is what is happening right now. And hey, if you'd like to continue avoiding your responsibilities, you can check out the new episodes of my newest podcast. They're both Crashing Out and In Good Faith. They're great watches and listens. I've even got links for you in the description so you can watch on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. But hey, no matter what you do, let me just say thank you for watching. I love yo faces, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.
welcome to the Smartphone Awards 2025. It's all in front of us, all the smartphones of the year. And you know, somehow in a world of AI devices and smart glasses and XR headsets, the smartphone is still OP. Like, this is still the center of our personal computing lives. And we got a lot of stuff coming out this year. We got folding phones, we got really interesting high-end phones and budget phones and weird accessories and modular designs and all sorts of stuff. And I'm about to give them some trophies. Every single phone on this desk in front of me came out during the calendar year 2025. And it's a bit of a tradition around here to reward some of the best and most notable of them. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. As usual, we have a set number of categories, and for each one of these categories, I'm gonna give one overall winner, which I will also award this very nice premium trophy, which I'll literally mail you if you're watching this, if you're the company that made the phone. And then of course, I'll give some honorable mentions and some runner-ups if there are others that are deserving. And this is one of the most fun videos to do every year, because every year there's all sorts of interesting phones that came out and storylines and different picks that people are expecting for certain awards. But these are of course my awards. So the awards I give are the ones I deem worthy. And without any further ado, let's just jump into it. First category, best big phone. Now, I've been doing this show a long time, and back when I first made this category, it was when there were like several distinct sizes of phones. Like there was normal phones, there were small phones, and there was huge phones like phablets. Nowadays though, every phone is big. But that's not stopping me from still awarding the huge phone that makes the most of it. So if you're gonna carry a gigantic phone in your pocket, you might as well make the most use of that space. A runner-up that I wanna give at least a mention to is this one over here. This is the Oppo Find X9 Pro. This is a 6.8-inch screen size and packs in a huge triple camera system on the back, including a 200 megapixel telephoto sensor. There's a ton of RAM and storage, there's a custom button, they put the camera control in there from the iPhone, and there's a giant 7,500 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery, which is ridiculous. It's an awesome phone, it's very big, but not enough to win this award. The winner is gonna go to this guy. This is the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. This is a really big phone that is really loaded with features. First of all, it's a 6.9-inch phone, so basically as big as a phone gets before it's a tablet. But it also feels like the most phone you can get if you're trying to maximize everything. Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, which is shaken out to be the most powerful chip of the year. 7,500 milliamp hour silicon carbon battery, all of the RAM, all of the storage, triple 50 megapixel cameras, and then a nearly 3-inch 1000 nit 120 hertz screen on the back, which is more useful than ever at this size. You can get notifications on it. It's your camera viewfinder. It's everything. This is one of those phones that made a statement for the design and how well it used the massive thing that is the camera bump on the back of the phone. Really well done by Xiaomi and well deserving of the best big phone of 2025. So that brings us to the next category, best small phone. So like I said, lots and lots of phones these days are huge. And it's been a while since I killed a category, but I don't want to do it with this one because I feel like it's more important than ever to reward the ones that are actually doing the most with the least amount of space, because it's so rare now. And so last year, the small flagship phone basically went extinct. There are no really good flagships with an under 6-inch screen anymore. So the winner last year was a 6.1-inch display. Nowadays, even that is rare. So now the phones that are shooting for that throne are in like the 6.3-inch screen size territory. So here's a good example. This phone I really liked. This is the OnePlus 13S. S for small. allegedly. And it did a lot of things great. Pretty simple, small, strong, and slick design, smooth and smart software. Sorry, I'm overdoing the S thing again, but that wasn't quite enough to win this award. We also had phones like the iPhone 17 and 17 Pro, which had 6.3-inch screens roughly,